Hello guys, and welcome to another tutorial. So I made this really simple little animation. I'm going to try and teach you guys how I made it today. This is my original that you see here, and I will be making it available on my Patreon. You can check that out in the description below. But yeah, this is what I made, and this is the one we'll be making today, which is pretty much the same one. The tutorial we did just came out a little bit differently, but it's the same kind of principle and technique. It's just this really simple little animation. So let's get right into it. I hope you guys enjoy it. With a new scene open up in Blender, we're going to go ahead and select our default cube. We're going to go into our front orthographic view by hitting 1 on our number pad, and then we're going to tab into edit mode. With this cube selected, we're going to go S, X, and we're going to go 2 and hit enter. So we've scaled it 2 times along the X inside of the edit mode. Then we're going to go hovering over here, go Control R. You can see a little yellow line appearing, and then you're going to roll your middle mouse wheel and you're going to double click, and that's going to add in these 2 loop cuts. Then we're going to go S, X, and just scale them so they're roughly about the size of a cube, so as you can see here. You can use this grid here as a grid as a reference as well if you want to get it to look exactly like mine. Then we're going to go to our face select option here, select the top face, and then we're going to go in our front orthographic view, we're going to go E to extrude, and we're going to hit Z, and we're going to extrude it up to about here. Then we're going to go E one more time, extrude it up to here. And once again, you can look at the grid spacing here for reference. Then we're going to select this face here, back in my front view. I'm going to go E to extrude it out. I'm going to extrude it to about here. Then I'm going to go G, Z, bring it down here, and this R to rotate it a little bit. Might just bring it in a bit, just something like that. Grab these 2 faces in the bottom here. I might just go S, X, and just scale them out a little bit. Just getting this to look like a 1. What we're going to do now is go into our modifiers tab here. We're going to add in a subdivision surface modifier. And let's add in some more geometry here to make it not deform like this. So hovering over here in the middle, we're going to go Control R, roll in some loop cuts, and then double click to add them in. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Control R, roll it once, and the same one over here. Roll it once, Control R, roll it twice. And you can see what I'm doing here. Just hovering over here, Control R, rolling in some loop cuts. With these 2 I've just added in, I'm going to go S, Y, and just scale them along the Y a little bit. Then I'm going to come over here, Control R, double click, double G, slide 1 down. Control R, double click, double G, slide 1 up. And I'm going to do the same over here. Control R, double click, double G, and doing the same thing over here. And then I'm going to go Control R, roll in 2 loop cuts here. And then over here, I'm going to go hover over here, Control R, and add in 2 loop cuts here. And then hovering over here, I'm going to go Control R, roll in 3 loop cuts. So we're just adding some more geometry to this. And what we can do as well, just here in the middle, we're going to go Control R, just roll it 3 times. So we got all of these loops in here now. So if we tab out of edit mode, we can go to object and enable shade smooth. So here we have a very simple number 1. What we're going to do now is go Shift A, add in a cube for reference. Then we're going to select this number 1. We're going to go S and just scale it down. And grab this cube, just move it to the top here so it's sitting on our floor. And we want this 1 to be just a little bit shorter than the default cube. And that gives you some reference to the scale here. So I'm just going to get rid of this cube. With this 1 now scaled, I'm going to go Control A and just apply the scale. So here we have it. Then what we're going to do is just tab into edit mode again, and we're just going to add some very basic things here. So we're going to go Shift A, go to the UV sphere here in edit mode, come to the UV sphere settings here, and we're just going to make it a count of 8. And the bottom one, we're going to make a count of 8 as well. Then we're going to go S to scale it down. Then we're going to go G, Z, bring this guy up, S to scale it down, and then G, X, move it over to the side. G, Y, and move it forward. So we're just creating one little eye here. Then we're going to go Shift D, move one to the side, and scale it up a little bit to make it uneven. And let's model a very basic and simple little mouth here. So I'm just going to select this, go to my face select here, select some faces here. It doesn't have to be the exact same faces, but roughly something like this. I'm just going to go S, X, scale them along the X a bit, and then E, S to extrude them in. And then what I'm going to do is go to my vertex select, and I'm going to go into my front view, just grab this vertex here, move it in like this, grab this guy, move it in like this, move these 2 vertices down, and then I'm just going to select these faces in here, and I'm going to go E to extrude them in. and then E one more time to extrude them in a little bit more, and then just S to scale that up, and then E to extrude it in like that. Just creating a very basic, simple little mouth. When you go back into object mode, just go to object and enable shade smooth again. So here we have this guy, and to give him that jiggle, what we're going to do is add another modifier. There's going to be the wave modifier here. So when we play this, we're going to see he is doing this. It's a little bit too extreme, so we're going to come here to the speed and make it 0.1. And we're also going to come to the height and just decrease that a lot as well. So like 0.1 should be fine for now. You can make it even less if you need to. Just leave it at that. So let's model the little skateboard here. So what I'm going to do, go Shift A, add in a plane. With this plane selected, we're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to go S, Y, and just scale it along the Y like this. Then SX to scale it in a little bit like this. Then we're going to go to our edge select this edge to front, go to our front view, and then go E to extrude this guy up. Grab this guy here, and just do the same thing like that. Then we're going to go Control R, hovering over here, double click to add in that loop cut, GX, and scale it along the X. Go to your modifiers, add in a subdivision surface modifier. Then hovering over here, we're going to go Control R, and we're going to roll in 2 loop cuts, double click, and then we're going to go S, X, and just scale them along the X like this. Then tab out of edit mode, go to object and enable shade smooth. Now to make this look a little bit more interesting, we can go and add on top of that a solidify modifier, give it some thickness, and then on top of that we're going to add one more subdivision surface modifier. And if you need to, you can still increase that thickness. Okay, so here we have a very basic skateboard. What I'm going to do with this guy is go G, Z, just bring it up a little bit so it's sitting above my floor here. I'm going to grab this guy, the character here we made, the little number 1, put him above there. And I'm just going to bring that height here on the wave modifier to 0.05 and just see what that looks like. Okay, that's a bit better. And I'm just going to move this guy up so it's sitting on top of that board. Holding in Shift, I'm going to select the skateboard here or the hoverboard. I'm going to go Control P and set parent to object and keep the transform. So now if we move this guy or even rotate it, that number 1 is still going to be following along. Okay, so what we're going to now do is go Shift A, we're going to go to our mesh options, add in a plane. With this plane selected, we're going to go S7 to scale it up 7 times. Then we're going to go Control A and we're going to apply this scale on that. We're going to tab into edit mode and hovering over here in our front view, we're going to go Control R. It's going to add in this little yellow line. We're going to roll it a few times to add in some more loops. Double click, and with these edges still selected, we're going to go Control B to bevel these. And once we've done that, we're going to go E, Z, and just extrude them down. The reason we're doing this, when we do eventually, if I just quickly went to my camera view, we do eventually move this. These ridges only give it, you're going to be able to see that the floor is actually moving. So it's just adding some detail here. We're going to now go add, we're going to add a bevel modifier to this. And then what we're going to do is just decrease this offset amount here. And we're also going to come make the limit method angle and increase the segment count just to bevel out these edges here and to smooth them as well. So go to object and enable shade smooth. Okay, so let's do some stuff with this camera here. Actually, just get rid of the camera. And then what we're going to do is come here in our front, kind of move over to the side like this. And then we're going to go Shift A, we're going to add in a camera. With that camera selected, we're going to hit 0 to go into camera view, then G, middle mouse button, and just pull back to about here. Go to our camera settings, and we're going to make this an orthographic. And then we're going to go to our camera output settings here, and under the resolution, we're going to make it 1920. We're going to hit enter, and the percent for now, I'm just going to make 50. Then what I'm going to do is go back to my camera settings, and now if you mess around with the slider, you can zoom in and out. So I'm going to just go with something like this, and I'm going to go G, Z, just move up this camera. And you guys can spend as much time as you want with this. If you double tap R, you can always rotate your camera in the viewport. You can also hit G to move your camera. So just get something that you like. Okay, so let's have a look at that. That's looking pretty cool. So what we're going to do as well, just drag this up here. And what we're going to do is select this floor. And this is not going to be a loopable animation, by the way. And we're going to come to frame 1. And on frame 1, we're going to go G, X, and we're going to move this guy over here and go into the camera view. So we just want it to be here, as you can see here, right? We don't want to see any sort of gaps. If you go G, X, you don't want to see the world over here. You just want to see the floor here. So once you've done that, you're going to go I and insert a location key. And then we're going to come to frame 200. And on frame 200, we're going to go G, X, and move this guy this way to here. And we're going to go I and insert a location key. As long as you can't see the world background there, it'll be fine. So let's go to our first frame and just quickly play that. Okay, the only thing we have to do is with this floor still selected, just select these two keyframes here, hit T and make it linear. So now it's a linear animation. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. What we can do as well is just grab this guy over here, go R, Z, and just rotate it a little bit on the Z. Just give him a little bit of offset like that. And also come to the end frames here, just make it 200 and hit enter. So let's have a look at that. And it's not meant to be a loopable animation. But yeah, that's looking pretty cool. So I'm going to show you how we can add some very basic shape keys here. So I'm just going to select this character, go to my shape object data properties, go to the shape key, hit the plus twice, and with this key one selected, we're going to tab into edit mode. Then we're going to select, just go to vertice select a vertex here, holding in shift, select a vertex on this eye here. Go Control L to select both, then S, Z, and scale them down on the Z. Then go S and double tap Y to scale them along the local of the Y, just like that. Tab out of edit mode, and now we have a slider here for the eye animation. So what we're going to do is come to frame 1, and on frame 1 we're just going to hit spacebar and play it. And once you feel like you want to blink, you can just stop. You can come over here and hit I, hovering over this value of 0, move up 2 frames, bring this value up to 1, hit I, and then move up 3 frames, and then bring this value slider back down to 0, hovering over it, hit I. So now we have a little blink here. And you can select these 3 keyframes and go Shift D, and wherever you drag them to, you're going to have a blink. So you can just make as many as you want, but don't overdo it. So let's play the animation. Now you got these nice, cute little blinks. What you could even do is select this character if you wanted to, and just hit plus one more time, create another shape key here, key 2, tab into edit mode, and you could even come here and just do something with his mouth, maybe enable proportional editing and just make it kind of close a little bit, or make him smile a little bit like that. Tab out of edit mode here, and now you have another slider you can work with here. So just give his mouth a little bit of a jiggle. So I might come here to frame 20, and with a value of about 0.5, I'm going to hit I to insert a keyframe. Come to frame 50, I'm going to drag it down to 0, I'm going to hit I, and you get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm just adding some little movements to his mouth. It's totally random, I've got no set method here, just to add some visual interest. So let's have a look at that. And that is looking pretty cool. I'm going to leave it at that for now because we want to keep this simple, super simple. I want to try to make this one of the simplest character animations ever. So with that done, we can now get into our lighting and our materials, and hopefully we can make it look pretty cool. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is go to our render settings here. We're just going to make sure the render engine is set to Eevee, which it should be by default. Enable ambient occlusion, and come down here and also enable screen space reflections. Once we've done that, we can go Shift A, go to our light options here, add in a light. We're going to go G, Z, move this light up in our scene. We're going to come to our light settings. We're going to make the strength of it 300, or the power. And we're going to increase the scale to 5 meters, like that. And then what we're going to do is go to our right view, just move it up a little bit. Then Shift D, move it over here, and then R to rotate it. So let's go into our camera view by hitting 0, and then go Z and go rendered. And let's have a look at that. Okay, there we have some lighting. You can also go to your world settings here, click on here and get an environment lighting, like a HDRI. That would make it look really cool, but I'm just keeping this basic. So let's grab this character here, and let's go to our shading. Make sure to hit 0 again over here to go into camera view, and then hit Z. Make sure you're in rendered view. And with this character here selected, we're going to go to our materials tab. It should already have a material by default because we used our default cube to get started. So I'm just going to call this skin. And then I'm going to come here to my base color, and I'm going to make it like a nice kind of blues color. I really like working with blues lately. Then I'm going to hit the plus over here one more time, go new. And let's just call this one mouth. Let's tab into edit mode. And all we simply have to do is select this vertex at the back, go Control plus a few times just to select all of these faces in the inside of the mouth, and assign that material. Let's come over here and just give that a dark kind of blue and bring this down. Cool, let's hit the plus one more time, go new, and let's just give it some eyes. So we're gonna call this material eyes. Tab into edit mode, select these two objects here, the eyes, go Control L, just select them, and then assign that eye material there. And let's also come here to the base color and just make that black and bring that roughness down a bit. Maybe just bring it a little bit more into the blues, like that. Just like a really, really dark blue, and make them nice and shiny. Then we're gonna select this hoverboard here. We're gonna go new. I'm just gonna call it board. Hit enter. I'm gonna come here to the base color and just make it like a nice kind of reddish pink color like that. And just bring the roughness down just a tad bit. Really good. Now let's select the floor here. I'm gonna go new. I'm gonna call it floor. And this time I'm gonna make it a nice kind of greenish blue like this. And I wonder if we gave this a smooth. Yeah, we did make it smooth. Did we apply the scale? I'm just gonna go Control A and just apply the scale. Let's just mess around with this offset value here a little bit. Okay, that looks better. It doesn't matter, it looks fine, don't worry about it. So this is our little animation, so let's just have a look at it. If you wanted to, what you could do is make this floor a bit bigger and make it move a bit faster, but this is okay for now. Just this nice looking little animation. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Let's just quickly give it a test render. So what I'm going to do is go here to my render and just render image and see what it looks like. Okay, that is what it's looking like. That looks pretty cool. So I'll show you quickly how we can render this out. So let's go back to our layout. I'm gonna go here to the output settings, go to the output here, click on this little folder, go to the desktop and go accept. You can select wherever, make the file format an FFmpeg video, go to the encoding, and we're gonna make it, go to the encoding here, go to the container, and we're gonna make the container an MP4. So click on that. Now if we go render and we go render animation, it'll render this out to our desktop. Now I've already done that with my original scene, by the way, which I will be making available on my Patreon. In the description below, you can find out more about that. I do hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys later for another one. Thanks for watching.